Welcome back, everybody, to IeSF Baku 2014. We're here at day number 3 of the World Championships of Dota 2, and we have a very good match to start this one out. We're going to be having Team China facing up against Team Finland. Now, joining me is going to be Jerix, the captain of Team Finland. Yesterday, I had a post-game interview with Trixie. After your match, Trixie, he felt like maybe this match was going to be a little bit too tough. He sounded a little bit off. I talked to Team Romania shortly before their matchup against Team China. It seemed like a similar sentiment, which was Weehaw saying, we don't feel confident enough against China, so we're going to pull out the Meepo. And it worked. Jerix, how confident are you feeling up against China? And are you going to be pulling out something similar?
I think we have something to planned up a little bit. I think we know much more how they pick, and they don't know so much that what we pick. And I think we have an element of surprise here.
All right, I like that. I like that a lot. Just because Team Newbie definitely the slated to be the favorites here for this tournament, so I like the confidence you're bringing here. Do you have any last words to some of your fans before you go up against Team China?
Not really. Just wish us good luck, and hopefully the game goes well.
All right, Jerix representing Team Finland. We're going to be starting this off in just a few minutes. I'll let you get back to the desk. Thank you so much, man. And that's going to be it. Team China versus Team Finland and a best of 3. That's going to be starting right now. Handing it off to our commentating team, DOTA1 and Durka.
Thank you very much, Capitalist. Yes, we'll be your casters for our first semi-final of the day. I'm Toby1, joined by DOTA. I'm interested to see how this goes. I'm actually I'm half interested to see how the draft's going to happen. But I'm kind of more interested to see how Newbie is going to play today.
Yeah, they did seem a little bit off in the game yesterday up against MVP. And also they lost to Romania in the group stages, which is a massive surprise. But I think Jerix is absolutely right. They definitely have the element of surprise. Yep. Drafting is going to be a massive part of this game. If Newbie go back to what they did in the later games up against MVP, play stable, just don't do anything fancy, don't do anything crazy, and they can, sort of stroll through this possibly, but Finland aren't going to let them do that. No. They're going to go all out in this draft.
Finland, I remember I talked to the boys before this entire competition started, and everyone, their eyes were on Newbie, okay, as far as battling against these guys, we know they can play better Dota than us. Their players are really damn good, so you have to take this into account. So what do you then try and do? You have to take them out of the comfort zone. That's the way to do it. You find snowball lineups and you find lineups which they're not used to playing up against. And that's where the Meepo kicked in. The Western scene got a lot of experience against that. The Eastern scene, not as much experience against that. And then you go for other heroes. Remember Na'Vi, when they first traveled down to China, one of the big heroes, and also during the TIs, they used was Pudge. Because China just never played up against such a hero that would force them into a bad position like that, and the reactions weren't the muscle memory kind of things. It was like, oh, we know what to do in this situation. It was I don't know exactly what we're supposed to do in this situation. Do we just try and swap him back out again? And then you just lose the VS straight away? Or, how are you meant to react to that? Finland have to make Newbie start asking those kind of questions. They're also going to be hoping, too, that Newbie brought their form from day one.
Yeah, I mean, that's absolutely right. They were used to heroes like Mirana and Clockwork, where the enemy would come to you and you could react, TP into towers, but Pudge, you drag someone out of their teammates across the river onto a ramp or something, and you've got no chance to TP in and help them.
Yep. But then again, a hero like Pudge would be fun, but you could also look at the lineup and say, okay, well, Newbie, what was one thing which we could take from them yesterday? They tried to increase their maneuverability. It was a lot of 4-stars coming in, and they tried to outposition their opponents during the fights. And in game number 1 up against the Koreans, that didn't work. Even though they had some really good maneuverability, in game 2 it really worked. Yeah. It worked very, very well. So well that it felt slightly crushing.
On top of that, they started picking tankier heroes. Like in the first game, they had some pretty squishy guys.
Yeah.
In the second one, they went with Tidehunter, Viper as their first 1-2 pretty much. And they aren't heroes you want to try and focus with a hero like Pudge or anything like that.
No. Speak of the devil, we actually have the Tidehunter as well as the Centaur being picked up. So Team Finland, we get a large amount of maneuverability through the Centaur, mainly a way where you can either engage or you can disengage very, very quickly. Then you got the Tidehunter as well as the Yoga pickup. So as you were saying, it's a standard offlaner. It's a very, very tanky offlaner, very difficult to zone out. And then they get the Yoga Magi as well, who is a fantastic controller and then buffer of heroes in the later portion of the game.
Do we see any Necro in the Chinese scene? Because that's something that's hit pretty hard in the Euro scene. And against tanky heroes, especially now we're picking up people like Tide and Ogre, their supports, where Reaper Scythe does start coming into its own.
I would like the hero, but I don't know if Newbie has been playing it. I did some research on Newbie before, obviously we came here, but it never flagged on anything I read.
I'm just wondering if they've actually played against it either.
It's a good point.
It might be another one of those heroes where they don't really see it, and it's never actually hit the big time. It's sort of still, okay, well, this is viable. We can do this sometimes. But it might be another one of those heroes. We've seen Finland run it earlier in the tournament in one of their first games. So they might pull it out. That's
one of those stats we could check out later on. We'll see how they go in this draft, however. We get past our first phase. So a Witch Doctor as well as a Centaur. So if you're going up against a large amount of life points, how do you deal with that? You get a good range harassment hero, which comes from the Witch Doctor. You've also got 2 melee heroes already being picked up, so the Paralyzing Cast will probably be a lot more effective during the team fights. And you also get good physical damage and the Restoration. So if your teammates get in trouble, you can keep the push going by just triggering that Voodoo Restoration. And also, it's a nice team fighter, and a nice team fighter when a Faceless Void is also not even being banned out in this game so far. It would force the Faceless Void into a 1-roll if Team Finland were going to be picking it up. And it's also rather dangerous to get like a full chrono duration time to attack when you still have an Ogre Magi and a Tidehunter in there. But they don't have the standard counters against that, which is heroes like Bane, SD, VS being picked up or banned out so far. So still very much options when it comes to that kind of combo.
Banning out the Jirax Earthshaker. So they have done a bit of research into Team Finland, it looks like. He played an amazing ES yesterday.
Yeah. The only downside is trying to find time to get a Blink Dagger. That one also had trouble yesterday. So Newbie, their third pickup now. Do we just try and cap up the supports here? So Finland have to semi-blind pick their next core. But then again, I don't think they really care. They're fine with what they've got.
Do you go for Razor here? I mean, he's a hero that, like you said yesterday, has been banned out a lot of the time. But Team Finland went for the Skywrath Mage as their second ban.
See, I would be slightly concerned about Razor, primarily because you would never win the foot race. And the chance of getting a good static link off during the mid-game fights and late-game fights is probably going to be very, very low due to just the disengage from Team Finland. So I wouldn't be as confident about picking up the Razor unless you know he can really win in the lane. I know Razor can win against most heroes, but if you pick him up this early on, then Finland's got a lot of time to get some counter picks. So I'll be a little bit more cautious about picking up the Razor this early on. It's definitely an option, but
Wait to see what Finland go for first.
Yeah, I prefer to see that too. Just pick up like a secondary support hero, get something. The Skywrath Mage was banned out. A Rubik is a nice one. I'm actually really a massive fan of a Rubik. Not up against a Witch Doctor, but up against the Centaur. Because for me, a Centaur is one of those heroes that will trigger Stampedes, so the rest of his team can come in, he'll then blink in, and there's a small fraction of a time before he'll be able to get a hoof stomp off. And that time, Rubik can then steal Stampede. And your control abilities are wonderful. We did, of course, see the Newbie Rubik yesterday. It was the highlight of my day, really. It really was the highlight of my day. And yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing another one now. Actually, that was MVP. That was MVP. I take it back. That was actually the Koreans that made it look good.
Stealing the RP and then using it just before it timed out, then stealing the chrono. That's amazing.
Oh, we'll see if Newbie then can do what happened to them yesterday. Once we get our brain settled this early in the morning. So Finland know the 2 supports. The lane harassment really isn't that great from Newbie. So Team Finland, okay, yeah, it's a lot of life points. You get the Necro come up. Yeah, this is also really, really problematic for Newbie. Because they're looking at this going, well, there's a couple of nice stealing abilities, but they can't force Finland out of their lanes when Finland runs such a lineup. Almost to a point where you could possibly, I know it's not normally, but you could technically push the Necro and the Witch Doctor to the off lane, primarily because they got so much life regeneration that an Ogre harassment wouldn't really do that much. A Rubik Fade Bolt is level 1, you just shrug it off. Even level 2 with that much heal, you wouldn't really care about it. And the range harassment, Witch Doctor would win the battle in that. You just need one more hero that comes with some good control abilities on that off lane, and you could technically just force the issue down there. If you get something like a Jakiro, a Coddle, something along those lines, Team Finland could be the aggressors in this game and restrict Newbie.
That's exactly right. I'm quite worried about Newbie here and their ability to stop the pushes, or at least slow them down. Sure, they've got Tidehunter. Once he hits 6, he can TP to towers, use that Ravage. But with this amount of burst regen and then regen over time from the Witch Doctor and Necro, Centaur has really low cooldown abilities. So he's going to be able to jump in, do his thing. The Ravage comes, they heal him up, they go back. They've got all their abilities back off cooldown, and then Tidehunter's like, okay, well, I'm going to have to go back to farming. So it looks like what they want to do is try and draw this game out, split Team Finland up, but that's not going to happen. Team Finland are going to group up and try and take down towers.
I'm really hoping. I know aggressive tri-lanes are a big gamble, and in a semi-final best of 3 up against the Chinese, it's not something which I don't know. I don't know if Finland will have the confidence to gamble on it. But the fact you get an anti-mage and an ogre to run, and it should just be safe lane. Anti-Mage, Ogre, and Rubik together. They could try and burn out the mana, which is why I kind of like the Coddle pickup. Also because then you've got 3 melee heroes who could be blinded, and that's a big mischance then coming into the fights too.
Well, we did see Team Finland do this, I think it was Cap and I casting. They had Necro safe lane, and they did run an aggressive tri-lane with the Centaur. And this is why I was saying Team Finland aren't afraid to move the supports. Like, they might start down on the safe lane, stack and pull a little bit, but then go up to help Trixie and deal out damage. And with a Witch Doctor plus another ranged hero, you're right. You can get the stuns on Anti-Mage, and he is a really low HP pool. Yeah. 550, 600 early on in the game. Double Edge, once it hits level 2 and 3, they can kill him relatively easily.
I just don't know if Finland really have the confidence to do such a thing. And they actually go for a Treant Protector.
More heals, please.
Is ultimate life. This now will mean that Finland will run a safe lane. This will be a Necrolite in the mid, there'll be a Centaur off lane. He'll have the living armor from the Treant Protector, but up against an Ogre, Rubik, and Anti-Mage, you just give him 8 tangos, and the living armor will allow him to run off lane. So they don't have to run the risk of an aggro tri-lane. They just get themselves a nice hard farmer that can fight up against the anti-mage in the later portion of the game. Newbie thinks it's going to be the Razor and a Necro safe lane. I'd actually say it's going to be a harder carry coming out here from Team Finland. Someone who they can't control at all. Morphling was already banned out, which is probably going to be the first thing I would have gone for.
You know, we were talking about this hero earlier, about Oracle coming out, and you mentioned a hero, and I think we might see it from Team Finland, because you know what's a really good combo is Life Break into Reaper's Scythe. Plus the amount of heals you've got on that guy, burning spears onto the anti-mage, he can't lane at all.
He can't blink away from that initiation either.
We might see a little Huskar guy come out for Team Finland. I'm not sure. I've not heard any rumors or anything. I'm just feeling it.
It would be ballsy. It would be ballsy. And yeah, let's just go on record right now and saying that last night Oracle was announced from DOTA2, saying that he'll be coming out sometime soon, as his hero portraits and icons have been released. Hero is completely broken, as all new heroes are. But the fact that, his combinations with the Huskar for us and Centaur together just look absolutely crazy. So yeah, we're going on the record right now saying that we think that's going to be the new combo once he gets released. But for now, Finland, their last pickup, they're going up against an Invoker. So Newbie, I'm happy. I always like seeing a Chinese or any kind of Invoker.
Come on.
Yeah, the Mu Invoker it really is brilliant. But still, the combination has to be right. They're getting through so many life points here. That's going to be difficult enough. Team Finland, a Necro versus Invoker, I don't see much of a problem for the Necro in the mid lane, because he's already going to have potentially the living armor as well, or a rotating Witch Doctor. So it just becomes a very early farming kind of thing. I wouldn't be surprised even if Finland decided to go for something even later and get it like a Spectre or something along those kind of lines. Because they're under no pressure right now. If they get something which can outcarry the Anti-Mage, Faceless Void is also still in the pool here for Team Finland. Yeah. They have every option for every hard carry. And it's going to be...
Yeah, I was looking towards more of a mid-hero because they want to put the Necro safe against the Tide 1v1 and have the supports maybe going safe lane, then up to the aggressive tri-lane, and then have Puck mid up against the Invoker.
I can understand it with the aggression they're going to get, because you got 3 Blink heroes. You got 3 Blink heroes from Team Finland, so they could be very aggressive across the map and then make the most out of that heal. At the same time, by drafting the Puck, you are putting yourself in that position where if the Necro doesn't keep his momentum up and running, Newbie will get ahead. And you kind of only need the mana style up against the Necrolite later on the Anti-Mage, because you just will take away all the mana. I don't know if we'll see also, we were asking for the EMP one from the Romanian Invoker yesterday, but if you do get an EMP into this lineup of Team Finland as well, that can cause a lot of problems. A full duration Death Ward, very difficult with Tornado on the field because of just the range of it. Even though it did get shortened recently, it's still a very, very powerful interrupting ability and control ability. So for now, I will be skeptical about the last pickup, even though I can understand why they're doing it.
Yeah, Puck really does synergize well with Centaur, Stampede, Stomp, Double Edge, hold people in place for a long time.
Yeah.
This Treant, though, what is his role in this game? Does he play PPD style and go aggressive with the Witch Doctor and try and roam and find openings across the map? Or do you just try and sit there?
I think he's a zone out the Tidehunter guy. It's living armor. It's living armor to make sure the offlaners succeed and the mid lane doesn't get killed. The Witch Doctor is the one that would roam and just help change the balance and control the runes. And the Treant Protector is just pull, find some good levels, and then they use his ulti later in the game to try and control up a couple of these melee heroes. Like, that's kind of what it just feels like should be happening from the lineup of Finland. It's heavily reliant on them being victors in their laning phase. If they can do that, then this lineup works. If they can't, I don't want to say they're screwed.
Things get difficult.
Yeah, because the team fight of Newbie is just so much more superior. Like, if you're going to compare Overgrowth to Ravage, you're going to say, okay, Ravage is a victor in this case. Centaur ulti might be great, but it's still getting you into something which is still going to be a Ravage with heroes which normally wouldn't buy a BKB. I know I've seen, I know at least one Puck BKB on the main stage, but it was like a 35-minute BKB and it was very circumstantial. It's actually up against a Tidehunter if my memory serves me correctly.
It was Team Finland.
It was Team Finland. So yeah, they could get the BKB on him, sure, but does Necrolite really want to be building into that one? That's going to slow down his progression. And if you take time to build BKBs on these heroes, the Anti-Mage will just get bigger and bigger and bigger. He'll finish up a Butterfly, and then you've got no direct attack which will go into because there's not a single Monkey King Bar hero in Team Finland. Yeah. I'm concerned about their plus 40-minute window. If they don't win this within the first 40 minutes, if they actually don't win this in the first 20 minutes by taking out early towers if possible, but probably more importantly holding on to their tier 1 towers and being ahead in CS and net worth, then I would be very scared for Finland. Yeah, that's why I don't like the Puck pickup just because of that.
Yeah, they have to win their lanes. They have to get their Blink Daggers around the same time. Like, the Puck has to get his around the 10-12 minute mark. Centaur has to be looking 15-16 at the very latest. And we've seen the Necro go for Blink after Midas previously, but I don't know if he goes for the Midas this game because it seems really greedy. And like you say, they don't want to be too greedy against an anti-mage. They want to get their initiation up online as quickly as possible and start moving across the map. The Tidehunter, they can leave him to get Ravage. They can leave him get level 6, but they need to stop the Invoker.
I would actually be fine seeing a Midas on Necrolite, but go with recently Dendy style, an 18-minute Midas.
Okay.
So you get your Blink Dagger first, so you're able to be involved and be that control guy. Even if it's just your Scythe, so you keep that person in position. And then you get the Midas, so your mid-game items still come.
So you hit level 11 faster, you get your Aghanims and all that. Yep.
Yep. So yeah, the Midas just lets you do that, so you don't sit there going, well, in the time I can afford an Aghanim Scepter. If I get that Midas at 18-minute mark, you're leveling up a lot quicker. But more importantly, you can get to not only like a Scythe, but you could have the Aghanims, or you could have like a different style of combination. Actually, I think it was it Koitva who played the Necrolite, I think it was, and he went Blink Dagger Dagon, but it was a level 1 Dagon, just so he had that burst damage to allow for the early kills, and then he'll go into his tier 3 items after that point. Just left a level 1 Dagon, didn't need the extra damage. Later on, he could buff it up if he wanted to, but it was just a very I like that. I liked that kind of you get aggression out from Necrolite. You make sure he's a hero that actually has a use. That's the downside about the anti-mage. He doesn't really have a great use until he's big enough that he can stand in the engagements. And when you're at that point, then you feel better about the anti-mage.
Well, when he does start a stand-and fight, it's going to be really difficult for Team Finland to actually go up against him.
Yes.
Those 2 core intelligence heroes, their mana is going to be burnt down. That mana void going to dish out the massive damage.
Yeah, Another major problem when you have a puck that blinks in close, a Necrolite who's also going to be rather in close and has a big mana pool. If they burn that off, that's a big vacancy of mana. And the Centaur, just the spill damage which can come out.
Also the fact that the Necro is going to be in the team fights using his spells and being on low mana, and then the Anti-Mage usually joins at the end of the team fight just to come in and snipe some kills. That mana void, as they're running away, they've got to be very careful with their positioning.
All right, looks like we're good to go, finally. So we had some problems getting our Ogre player into the game, but now Banana has managed to join in. So we'll get ourselves underway with Newbie on the Radiant side for this first game of the best of 3 and Team Finland over on the Dire side. And it looks like all of our lanes, it is stock all standard from Newbie, man. It is Invoker mid, Anti-Mage safe, Tidehunter off lane, and then the 2 supports which can roam and do their thing. Necro top lane for Finland. It is Puck in the middle lane as well. That puts Trixie as the feeder on the off lane as the Centaur. Jirax will try and make sure he doesn't feed as much, and then Witch Doctor, the roaming, with an early smoke also being purchased. So I think you might actually get your wish for the roaming combination. They might even just try and go for like the smoke movement in, then go for Leech Seed, Paralyzing Cask. The chances of, like, if that doesn't work, you might find yourself with a really under-leveled Treant Protector, and you'll never get that living armor when you want it. The one small downside about roaming a Treant.
Yeah, they can always go back into their jungle stack and pull, like you said, go to the safe lane, keep the Witch Doctor roaming around mid to guard the runes for the Puck, then go back top. It's just leaving this Tidehunter. I said they can let him get level 6, but that's after a certain point. They don't want him to get level 4 or 5 that early and then 6 before the 8-minute mark. They want to keep him off the lane in the early stages, but after that, when they start moving and trying to make the plays, they can leave him there, because he's still not going to get his Blink Dagger for quite a while, and he doesn't really want to go and defend teammates to use it Ravage defensively.
Bottom rune is going to be the most useless one of all. We get a bounty rune over on the Ogre Magi very early on. He also picked up boots to start with, same with the Treant Protector. So I'm looking forward to seeing them being active. And no one wants to walk down for a regeneration rune. That doesn't help anybody. But Jirax as well as Oki, they're actually waiting a very long time before they're even making a move here. There's a Dire Observer Ward on the bottom lane, but they're not scouting out anyone. And in fact, Newbie, they switched. I like. This is such a better matchup for them.
For the Tidehunter, yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And this is exactly what Trixie didn't want to be facing up against. Or even the Necro, because the Anti-Mage is perfect up against him. No mana burn to start with, but once you get that level 2 on the Anti-Mage and he starts having mana burn, then it's just a blink in, harass back. You don't care if Necro is going to pop off the Death Pulse, which he didn't level up here. He actually leveled up the Heartstopper Aura instead. All you want to do is just take out the mana of that Necro and force him to be a little bit less useful. The top lane also, the Radiant Creep Wave just got pulled over to a double stack, so he's also going to lose out in the experience of this extra wave. Jirax and Oki, they're going to move themselves over, but Sunshine will see it, and they just back up. So the smoke is being wasted as well by Team Finland. The Creep Wave is coming down, so the levels are already there for the Anti-Mage. The Tide's 5-4 up against a 0-1 Centaur, and your middle lane's a 5-2 Puck up against Moo, who obviously is having more trouble.
Yeah. He's gone for Quas first. I was just wondering, are those last hits correct? Moo not getting a single one until just now? Hopper's playing really well on this mid lane. Sure, he's got a null and he's got the extra base damage, and Invoker has pretty poor attack damage to begin with.
When he went for Quas first as well, so there was no X-Sword to buff him up.
It looks like it's going to be Quas Wex, so you might get your wish. Usually when we see Blades of Attack first, it indicates Phase Boots early, which means Quas Wex, because you usually keep Brown Boots on the Exort Invoker for travels later on.
Yeah, Nubia realizing the weakness of the Finnish lineup, and that's the fact that maybe this is the amount of times I've seen a 2-minute rune just win everything. we're at that point again. The Radiant Observer Ward's up on the top, however, so there's no dire vision. So this Puck may not know what's going to be coming for him.
Nice lane control there from Moo.
Yeah, he drags it all the way back, which means now the Puck is way too far out. There's also no mana for an Orb. He phase shifts, and he's stuck here. The Cold Snap to start with. Sunshine's waiting as long as he possibly can before he does the pullback. There is the Ignite, then the Orb away, but it's a level 1 Feybolt. You just attacked the tower right then. Feybolt, he's not enough damage. 79 life points on the way back, and it's only 70 damage with the
That was
The reduction.
cutting it so close. But great move from Moo. He knew his supports were incoming, sees the haste rune with their Observer Ward, but he pulls the creep wave back and sits there tanking it. And as a mid player, Puck's thinking, okay, he just wants to control creep equilibrium. Keep it on top of his ramp. That's okay. He's done a really good job there. He doesn't know that the two supports are coming in again.
Poor guy. Living Armor might help him, but then the Ignite just burns through it. Sunshine also already threw out the Fade-Bolt. They pick him up, they throw him down, and First Blood will be spilled by Newbie in the mid lane. Good rotations, and then they can just beat into the Tier 1 tower, especially when Sunshine does stuff like this. He grabbed purposefully the creep wave, so now there's a creep wave and a half hitting into that Tier 1 tower in the middle lane. I thought he was going to take it to the Ancients, but it comes back up again. The Puck, you can't go for that. If he had Dream Call, he might be able to have a crack at Sunshine. Or Boots.
Puck died just before he got his bottle as well, so it's really unfortunate for him.
This is a rough start. The Living Arm is trying to keep Trixie alive up against Rabbit, but Rabbit's currently 19 for 7 up against an 8 for 1 Centaur, because he just doesn't have damage.
He's got Arcane Boots already. This is such a favored matchup for the Tidehunter.
It's a simple lane switch. You could think about what would happen right now if Newbie just went for the standard running an Anti-Mage on the safe lane.
Yeah.
This would be such a different game right now. Well, they realized what was going on. Okay, that's troublesome for him. Thrown up on top of the hill. The Illusion's actually working against Sunshine, so Jirax will be picking up a kill against the Rubik. But there was a stranded Witch Doctor on top of the cliff.
He's going to get given a TP.
Yeah, Jirax actually takes his TP and gives it over while the courier was in the neighborhood. So Witch Doctor will get down safely. So 1 for 1 on the board. And Necrolite's still finding some really good farm. Out of everything that's there, that's some really, really good farm over on Fraggy, but he just doesn't have levels.
They've switched the lanes again. They've got a bunch of levels on Tide. He's 5 now. And they've shut down the center enough. They feel that they've just put How down here. He's not going to suffer at all.
He's here for Ancients. Sunshine, he's going to arrive just in time to get the perfect attack off. So the Tide gets the levels on the top lane, and then moves down to farm up the Ancients. That's the reason why they're switching him up. Because Anti-Mage can't do anything with the Ancients until he has the Battle Fury and more life points.
Necro is going straight for the Midas. Gloves of Haste, 600 gold.
It's ballsy. I'll give him that. Bottom lane, How and Trixie battling it out. The Hoofstomp's already gone, paralyzing cast. How needs to blink, and he does get it off, but the Leech Seed from the Tree and Protector will be able to connect in time.
How close was that? He was about 3/4 of the way through the blink animation, and then the Witch Doctor stun comes. Really great timing. I mean, Trixie played that perfectly. Myth, Puck taking good harassment there. Forced to use the orb.
He had to, because he phase shifted before, and then it was like, sweet, now I can just cold snap. And he used the orb jaunt to disconnect the attack. Now, Banana might be in a little bit of trouble. Jirax getting the Centaur ulti, so they can chase down after him, but now that's actually being wasted. They do scout out the fact there is a triple stack of creeps on the side, as they'll be ignited up as well. And Moo, well, Cold Snap, he's got Tornado still available, so if he has to, he can pick him up and throw him down. But Witch Doctor, the Living Arm, is protecting him. They're battling up the hill. There goes the Tornado buying him the space, as well as giving the extra damage to kill that Witch Doctor. And Sunshine spotted the fact that Trixie went into the pit with no mana. So now Trixie being picked up, he's not actually throwing him up on top of the cliff side, which I believe you can actually still do from there.
Yeah, I'm not sure why he didn't even move him, you know, in any direction. Just let him fall straight back to the ground.
He might have been worried about some kind of reaction from Jirax, who did show himself in the neighborhood, but it's like 0.2 of a second of your time to throw out to throw him back. Yeah, just a little bit of a missed opportunity to make Finland have to burn another TP. In the meantime, How's now up to 33 for 7, farming on that bottom lane. Treads PMS, it's the standard Anti-Mage build for the tournament. And we'll go directly into the Battle Fury after this with the Quelling Blade.
I really miss seeing this Invoker build. Phase Boots into Bracer and the Sage's Mask, just so you have that extra mana regeneration.
There's actually one of the greatest ganking builds as well. Because you go back to, like, it's that early Orchid build. So you just roam yourself across the map, you run invis, you got such high movement speed, and all of a sudden, like, you're like Stealth Assassin. Necro, trouble on top lane. Telekinesis pickup will be there. They're going to commit the Ravage. There is no mana for the stun. Now there actually is, and he'll get it off while the center ulti will go. Rabbit, he's going down really quickly. He's in the middle of 4 heroes. The anchor smash, and now they do no damage. Tornado coming in from the Invoker, catching out 2 on the end. The Necro included. Rabbit again for the anchor smash. The Dream Core will hold him here. Rabbit still living at the moment. Finally, the AWP from the puck will bring him down, but Invoker got a bit of a revenge kill. Almost being picked up. In fact, Moo able to reach into the Necrolite as well. Jirax, and we got a call snap up, 7 seconds until it's back off cooldown again.
Necro really didn't want to die there. He was 30 gold away from finishing the Midas. That's really bad timing.
And while all that's going on, like Trixie let the ulti off, he got Howl farming the bottom lane up against him. This Blink Dagger is nowhere near it. There's no follow-up initiation. And you also saw the power of the Tidehunter. They had 4 heroes that brought him down quickly, and then anchor smash and damage just stopped.
So does Rabbit feel here he doesn't need Blink Dagger because he knows Finland are going to be the aggressors and blinking onto his team, so he's just going for mech? So he's got the Ring of Regen.
See, I'm wondering if it's actually going to be mech or if it's going to be 4-staff.
Oh, yeah, we have seen 4-staff from him quite a lot, haven't we?
As right now, like, it's all about winning the fights at the very, very start. And if you got a center hoof stopping onto somebody, you just push them away. Or, like, just to keep yourself away to freedom. That's all I think it's going to be. It's a maneuverable game right now. They can get that regeneration later. Trixie, I think it's going to get ignited on the bottom lane, but Banana doesn't have mana to do anything here. Yeah. For now, I think it makes sense to build into the mech for him, especially when he's able to flash farm up stacks. And at the same time, I'd like to see something along the lines of a 4-staff.
Moo is so dominant. It's absolutely ridiculous. And yet, 2 Sage's masks. The Orchid is coming.
Yep. This is Hunter Invoker. You want someone who can create space for an Anti-Mage? An Orchid Invoker is exactly that.
Yeah, silence the puck, the Necro, any target you want to. They're all viable.
I'm still waiting for this Tidehunter to buy something that reveals what he's trying to do.
Well, we won't see for another, what, 250 gold at least?
You could, I want to see if he buys the, 250 gold, because then we know it's the Staff of Wizardry or not. But he could buy the headdress right now, and then fly it out. If he feels that's even important. He's got the regeneration, so I think he's quite alright with that. Trixie is still looking for an opening on that bottom lane, and he's got help on the way. Hopper's still a while away from having his Blink Dagger, and Jirax, he's level 4 at the moment, but he needs to find a target, and they're all hiding.
Yeah, Fraggy got his Midas. That was about 9 minutes in. Building into Magic Stick now. His next item is going to be really important. Does he still go for the Blink? Because Trixie's timing isn't far off. Can he get it to match up with his?
If you can, Blink all the way, man. In this game, you're going to need position above everything else. A little bit of fun being prepped up in the middle lane, but Jirax, again, can't get close. That's a nice little bounty rune up on the top lane as well. Moo, I think he really cares about at the moment. Sure, let the Treant Protector have it. Let him have his level 5. And that first Oblivion stuff already up on the Invoker. Oh, is he going to find Rabbit? It doesn't really stop anything. Like, that's just one quick lead seed. Tornado, Moo. Okay, he just misses as Jirax just takes 1 step back. But he shouldn't move back up again yet. The Dire Observer should see Sunshine here. And maybe that's the reason too. Puck's moving up with a double damage or a double damage rune. He can join himself up and fight into that, but Moo will be hot in his tails. But there is Tornado on cooldown, so there would have been an opening for him to get the kill and probably get back out again.
Really? You going to be that sneaky?
He's going to try. He's got 1 bottle charge up his sleeve, and with a double damage rune, you might give it a crack. Unfortunately for him, he still hasn't managed to pick up 1. There you go. He gets 1 Lizard, 95 gold, and a little bit of experience.
How long does he want to stay here? I mean, there's quite a few on low HP. You probably leave the big dragon. You take the small ones. Yeah, time to back up.
Yep.
There's no point staying there for much longer. Go back to mid lane. There's 3 creeps.
He's just trying to make sure there's nothing else left for him. But Ty still hasn't purchased anything yet.
Trixie has enough for Blink.
Yep.
Puck, 700 off.
At the same time, if he dies right now, he's going to be absolutely spitting chips. Tornado picks him up, and he bought the Blink Dagger straight away. We got ourselves a pause, actually, coming out from the admin of all people. At the same time as Trixie was being initiated on. The reason why is because we actually have a headset off the Chinese players. So that's the reason for the pause at the moment. So having to put it back on again. So we'll resume the game when the players are going to be ready. With TP support coming in, Trixie, the Fire Blast is halfway through the stun time at the moment. And Trixie...
and cold snaps on him,
yeah,
and he's dead.
But they do double TP in. Trixie, he will die. Now the support comes in with a bounce stun. It'll go down to Banana, but doesn't come back up again. The Dream could have been committed on Moo, but he just TPs away. They've already used all their stuns, all the control. While up on top lane, Rabbit feels with the bottom lane fine. He had a lot more space up here. But Fraggy's going to try and say something against that. He's only got 1 point up in that Heartstopper aura, however. So Rabbit, he's just able to fight this one out, especially when he's still got Ravage available. Jirax, he goes for the Living Arm to protect himself. There's no stun mana even with the 2 stick charges. So Team Finland will back up while Hao is going on a bit of a run. He doesn't have Mana Void, but he's forcing Puck out of the lane. And Moo, Tornado, EMP, he's got Cold Snap as well, and that's a solo kill on the Witch Doctor behind the Tier 2 tower.
6-0. This Muvoka showing the skills.
It's going to get worse. It's really going to get worse, or better for Newbie, worse for Finland.
Because Puck without the Blink Dagger has no chance against the Orchid Invoker. He's just going to get silenced and then stunned with Cold Snap. They don't even really need to commit the Tornado EMP. They can hold that for when the Stampede is used, because they can just hold him in place, so his extra movement speed doesn't actually take effect. Oh, Rabbit finds out his engine camp has been taken a little bit, and now
he's going to find out it's actually blocked as well because that Observer Ward. It's like, I know I was meant to have more things here. Can someone come up and de-ward this? The sad thing is they have a Sentry Wall which reveals to here.
This is the thing of the tournament. Sentry walls that are just out of range. I mean, this is pretty far off compared to the ones we've seen, which are 1 pixel away.
When it was also like a couple of months ago with the older version of the wards, when the range was like what, 20% less. Nah, that was just heartbreaking moments because Sentry wards would just fail every single time. We got movement coming out from Team Finland, so they're going to give an attempt of a smoke gank up against Hao. Potentially. They could actually switch this around too and look towards that mid lane, which is where Sunshine and Banana are trying to just chill themselves out and wait for the Puck to initiate. He still doesn't have his own Blink Dagger, but he does have Dream Call available. Jirax making his way in. EMP Tornado. Centaur ulti. They're going to drag Puck all the way back in. Trixie! Triple hoof stomp into the Death Ward as well. Sunshine the first one to go down. Banana will get the multicast off, which will stop the Death Ward attack, but the Necrolite ulti is going to put Moo on the sidelines. The Ravage, however, in from Rabbit. Banana still here on the front lines, but now the Overgrowth and Newbie have overcommitted themselves. This is a horrendous fight for them. They're going to have a triple kill in for the Necrolite. The Invoker giving away his streak to the Necrolite. And he's dead for so long.
Holy crap, you can see the lines drawn in the Radiant jungle. That movement though, the smoke gang, it looked like they were going to go for the anti-mage, but then suddenly swinging around towards the mid lane, absolutely beautifully timed, and the Necro coming into the team fight had about 3,500 gold, double blink incoming on the Courier. We were talking about this timing. Trixie got his, sets this whole fight up, allows the other two to purchase theirs.
Yeah. This is such a danger time right now for Newbie. This is what Hao did not want to have happen. The entire team basically feeds. While he is meant to be farming, they're meant to just be getting 1 pick off and then back themselves up. That was the plan right there from Newbie. And the plan failed. The plan failed badly. They'll come down for the Puck. The stun not coming out in time from Banana, so he's able to jaunt himself away to the other side of the tree line.
But yeah, it's been Newbie setting the tempo. It's like, okay, we'll just slow things down. Antimage is farming. We'll control these team fights. Moo is going absolutely ham in these team fights, finding pickoffs here and there. And then Finland are like, okay, we have to change something. We have to make something happen. 1 smoke, and they turn this game on its head.
At the same time, though, this is 1 fight. Yeah. Newbie to make the right decision. They push the Tier 1 tower. Trixie initiates on Hao. Multicast done 2 times over on him. Malediction is also there. The Necrolite ulti. Well, it does get thrown out. Animage is going to be on the sideline. Tornado flies through. That'll again stop that Witch Doctor doing a lot of damage to him with the Cold Snap and the EMP. They're all going to be completely out of mana with this one, including the Necrolite. And in fact, the Necro ulti stolen by Sunshine. It's not enough like life points on that hero. Or actually, there's too many life points on that hero to get the kill. But the Invoker's already brought down the Necro. And they will take this Tier 1 tower. Newbie want to do this while the oldies were down. And they will still succeed. That's Moo's, well, that should be Moo's Orchid. Yeah, it's Moo's Orchid. And this is where I was like, okay, 1 fight's kind of okay for Finland to win. But the Invoker now starts hunting you. And this is where you lose momentum completely. Sure, the Necrolite's now being buffed up wonderfully, but Invoker's the perfect counter to him with a Quas Wex build. He comes up, he silences, he takes all your mana, you're being stutter stepped up because you're getting call snapped and attacked, which means the bonus damage on that as well. And there's nothing Necrolite can do about it. The Heartstopper aura will not save him. And he doesn't have life points. It's 891 life points on a Necrolite. He's heavily reliant on the ability to cast his heal.
I think they got really overzealous there. They knew the Tidehunter Ravage was down, and they thought, okay, we've got living armor, we can defend this tier 1 and heal it up. There's no reason we should give it to newbie. So they go in, take a team fight, which is really unfavorable, and Hao is still farming up 100 gold away from that Battle Fury. It's going to be, what, 30 seconds at the very most? After this creep camp, he should be pretty much on it.
Yeah, it's a little later than Hao would have really wanted. Obviously, we saw our 13-minute Battle Furies yesterday and the day before. So it's a lot slower.
That's when he was, what, 4-0-2, and now he's 0-2-1. So we can forgive him for that.
Jirax is dead. He is so dead right now. Throws out the ulti, and Moo waited for it. Orchid, the center ulti will be triggered, allowing Jirax to get back out again. Tornado will fly him up and then drop him. Look how much damage he takes just off the fall from the Tornado. They're looking for an opening now in mid, but they blink away very quickly.
Yeah, they saw him with the Observer Ward. Moo trying to sneaky little move with the Ghost Walk.
Sunshine still got the Trooper Scythe. He's hoping to just bury somebody from Team Finland.
Well, it's a level 2 as well.
Yep.
How long? He's got, what, about 30 seconds left on that?
Moo's found the best target he could. And with a Frosted Feet on the Orchid, he knows he's in trouble. The Tornado will fly a little bit off target. The Necrolite ulti will be dropped. Not enough damage on him. The EMP will burn the Witch Doctor. The Living Armor started to heal him up. I think Sunshine just wanted to throw that. Wow.
That timing.
Greatest timing in the world. But then the stun, no multicast onto the Witch Doctor, but Jirax being picked up and also silenced. There's no Leech Seed. The Mana Void will pick up the Witch Doctor before he's able to TP out. So both the supporters of Team Finland getting caught out, and you've just picked up again Living Armor over on the Rubik. So forcing out the towers really is a lot more difficult. In fact, you already see the Living Armor being applied to the Tier 1 tower, realizing Trixie's about to push it, they heal it up, and then there is no trade for Finland. It's a Tier 1 and 2 heroes being lost for no rebuttal.
I think they were expecting TPs in there from the rest of their team because Witch Doctor started repositioning himself to go back in. Same with Jirax. He ran a little bit and I was like, okay, I'm going to de-ward and I'm going to fight. I'm going to try and de-ward this as hard as I possibly can. But there was no TP from Trixie because he's farming bot lane. Looks like he's trying to make a BKB. Puck was mid and Necro was farming the jungle.
He can try and go for a BKB, but I don't know if that's really going to be enough to save him in this game. He needs to, because the Tide Ravage, the Orchid, and everything else being thrown at him, he needs to have the BKB. The magical damage output is obviously still quite high. The physical DPS is going to increase for the Invoker and the Anti-Mage into the later portion of the game. But for now, having that immunity is definitely worth it.
Yeah, we've seen him build Halberd a couple of times on Centaur, but it would be a good item up against the Anti-Mage before he gets his Manta.
It's just the fact he has to build it this early on before he gets the Hood. Now, Moo, ulti from Jirax. Moo needs a way out of here. He's got the Orchid. He actually silences over on the Puck. And he's got Invis in 1 second time. So now he can do it, but they drop the Sentry Ward down. So we'll try and get out of here. The silence is still going to be there. In fact, Trio Protector just walks straight through him with that ultimate from the Centaur supporting him. So the Invoker will go down.
That's a nice kill. Now with the Puck, what do you reckon he goes for? We've seen him go for Yules, but we did mention the BKB during the draft. Do you go for a BKB yourself this early on?
You go Yule Scepter. You go Yule Scepter up against the Invoker.
So you get Orchid on you, you Yules yourself, then try and blink away.
Bingo. 100% that if you can.
I'm just wondering whether they start making boosted travel, because we know the Necro... Oh no, he's going BKB as well.
I almost feel right now that Finland are wanting to just group up as 4, potentially 5, and just push.
Yeah.
Just take a team fight. We were talking about this during the drafting phase, where their strength is life points more than anything else. The major problem, though, I'm seeing is they've waited too long for this. Life points are a great strength, sure, but you have an anti-mage, which is just finished up his Yasha, has a Battle Fury, has his Shreds, and even 4-staff's starting to arrive over on Rubik's. You've got base regeneration, which is kicking in, and you have the full mech built on Rabbit. He built the Blink Dagger to start with, and now he actually has the full mech done for newbie. It's back in his stash.
Yeah, they've got the health and also the short cooldowns. With that Centaur, Puck, Witch Doctor, all pretty short cooldowns on their spells. And move.
Triolti is going on that middle lane to jump in as well. Sunshing's the one in trouble until Rabbit gets 4 heroes with the Ravage. The Tornado will come up, the mana break, able to kill off the Centaur, and then Hal will move over, looking for the triple kill. He'll claim it as well. Witch Doctor in the corner, but there's not enough damage, and there's also no stuns left. But it's a triple kill for the Anime, shooting him over 10,000 in the net worth. And they'll look to the tier 2 tower in the middle lane. Finland just wanted a quick jump in. Hilarious thing is they could have actually lost the Witch Doctor very early on too, because the Invoker was about to initiate on him with the Orchid. He was watching the move into position.
Oh man, Puck had the courier.
Is this enough damage? Does he have enough damage? He
with
does.
With a multicast, he does.
With a triple multicast from Oka, yeah, we could say yes.
Puck had the courier at the secret shop and was a few gold away from finishing the Yules, and then died and lost about 250 gold.
Poor guy. I'm actually trying to think too, Invoker with his movement speed right now. When you give him Bloodlust, he's kind of already on haste train, isn't he?
Yeah, when he phase boots, he's pretty much 522.
Yeah. So we can't go any faster. Unless he becomes Bloodseeker. Tornado, nicely done. They had the Sentry Ward out. Orchid with the follow-up stun. Jirax is toast. Trixie would love to come in and help him out, but remember, they still don't have Necrolite. They don't have Treant now. The Puck all being stolen by the Rubik, so he's going to reposition her. Sure, the Anti-Mage isn't here, but they don't really care. Hoofstomp will come in. The Malediction was looking for his opening target. It's going to be on Rabbit as the TP, after buyback from the Treant, comes to the front lines. And he tries to get his ulti off. He can't do it. He can't hold him there, which means it's Witch Doctor Death Ward a lot less effective. Jirax will actually pop from the Orchid as Rabbit gets himself away to safety with the TP. Tornado will buy a little bit of space to get out of here. And then Sunshine jumping himself in deep with the Orb. Banana, you're in trouble. That Scythe will chop his head off. As, well, they do get a pickup on that Rubik on the way out too. So a double kill coming in for the Necro. But Anti-Mage is taking the tier 2 tower in the bottom lane, forces the fortification out, and he just returns.
And How is going to start balling out of control. He got that Manta style so quickly after the Battle Fury. I mean, I'm pretty sure in the game we saw yesterday, he got Battle Fury at, what, 13, 14 minutes, and then it took him a good 7 minutes or so to get the Manta because of the amount of pressure he was under.
Yeah.
But this game is like the complete opposite. He got a later Battle Fury, but the time between that and Manta has been shortened because of the kills he got in the mid lane.
That trip kill in mid.
And now he's just jumping between lanes, farming the enemy jungle as well as his own.
Yeah, and this just cuts Finland's area of resources, like, I'm not even going to say in half, I'm going to say into a quarter of what it used to be. They just don't have space to move across the map. And the second they do, like, that Ravage is off cooldown for the Tidehunter, and you also never know where the Invoker is going to be. He moves at the speed of light, and when he initiates, he instantly silences you. So unless you got a way to dispel that Orchid, you're dead. Now, you got a Yule Scepter over on Hoppus, so he's got a way out. The BKB isn't done yet over on the Centaur. Jirax has no way to freedom. Witch Doctor has a point booster, but those light points won't save him. The BKB on the Necro will be there, but if he starts triggering BKBs as well to try and stop an Orchid initiation, his team fight potential or duration is going to drop massively too. And goodbye Witch Doctor. This is what I'm talking about. One more attack, Living Arm to protect him. Tornado fall damage will actually kill him. He triggers the BK beam here, Moo. He needs one more attack for the Witch Doctor. The Gush will come in from Rabbit. Kill secures that one. The Dream Core will hold him here. Moo, he's still got the BKB, just walks straight through it. Goes into Invis, so he has more movement speed to get in front of Jirax. Can also see Hoppus. The Orchid's off cooldown again. They can go for the Puck. Ravage will be committed. Also hits on Trixie, so he can't blink himself down to help out his teammate. The Orchid was used to ensure the kill on the Puck. Now he'll hoof stomp himself down. No double edge, as he wouldn't get any kind of advantage from doing that, only disadvantage. That's another 2 heroes being picked up from Team Finland while Anti-Mage takes the tier 2 tower.
What can you do to stop it? That BKB from Moo, absolutely perfectly timed. He gets that when the Ravage is coming off cooldown so they can go and take that engagement straight away. He's not going to get stopped by any of these spells from Finstack. Calling them Finstack. Team Finland.
It works both ways, really. They are a stack of Finnish people.
Yeah, but they aren't the Finstack.
No, they're not the Finstack. Newbie. Surprisingly, weren't going to jump into Roshan. I know they were looking at it, but the tier 2 tower in the bottom lane, they want to take it instead. The Living Armor of Treant will slow him down, but slowing him down is all it really is. And look with the Alacrity buff up as well.
There's no
so
reason.
Quick damage.
Yeah, no reason to stop being ruthless.
Ooh.
I'll just go back towards mid, maybe find a pick off on this Centaur. Trixie is quite out of position.
Just trying to think about how much damage Moo is capable of pumping out. You could also Alacrity over on the Anti-Mage as well. But when you Bloodlust and Alacrity onto How, you actually see him right now, so, okay, the Alacrity is going to wear off. But his attack speed is through the roof. It's a shame he doesn't have any kind of Vladimir's offering aura around him, which could be purchased up later on by the Ogre. He probably wants to buy himself a 4-staff, but the Anti-Mage has a full BKB on the Courier. So there is only now 2 abilities that will control him, so not a lot. And they're all being watched. These Observer Wards, or at least there's one of them down. They're coming in, they see Trixie, that's Moo that's standing there. Their own Sentry Ward, and Trixie will blink himself away. I don't think Moo wants to give up this chase. But what's he going to do? Observer Ward on the hill, they throw down the Sentry, so they see the Radiant Observer Ward. Actually, are they going to get there in time while they still have the vision? Missing up the hill twice? Okay, they will pick it off in time. Right, Finland definitely looking for an opening. If they can find one, can they even do this, really?
Now that the AM has BKB, I'm not too sure. Centaur gets his, but the fact that their magic damage is completely mitigated by the magic.
Jirax, that's a Sentry Ward. They can see him perfectly. They orchid him, so there's no ulti from that one. Puck will jump in, does get the Dream Core, but it's on BKB-style heroes. While Moo, he picks off one, moves over towards the Witch Doctor. Supports are dropping like flies, and Puck gonna drop with him. The Orb, does he get up? He does away. The Centaur won't get the deny off. The Sunstrike's a little bit further to the west. Puck on the other side of the tree line. Nice. Can they see him Anchor Smash? You could have blindly done that.
But he didn't know.
Yeah, he didn't know. It would have had to be that woman's intuition, or in this case, man's. But they've already got themselves 2 pickups. The Centaur ulti is down, the Dream Call is down. That's just an opening to go for Roshan.
This is the newbie we know.
Yeah.
BKB is on cooldown. There's no point overcommitting and going for high ground. Their respawn times are really short, so they're going to come back out really annoyed. They have just upset the Beehive. So they go into the Roshan.
That's the smartest thing to do. They're just going to be quick about it. With no ultis to really stop it, Finland's got... Well, they can try and harass him with orbs and just say, I know what's happening. You can see Opus, he's dropping his TP scroll,
Whoa.
So he's got the ability to pick it up. So that's his first orb, but he's got to wait 4 more seconds before he can go again. And they're pulling out. They're waiting for the jump in from Team Finland. There goes your secondary orb. They realize that Roshan's now outside the pit, so we won't jump in, but Finland have a chance where they could stake out Roshan. But with the Blink, they get 4-star Ravage on the Tidehunter, and a Tornado that can do that kind of stuff. In fact, even grabbing the Centaur.
And Desolator on Moo.
Ah, I love it. I love it.
On the Courier.
It's so smart, though. But I've always been a massive fan of Desolator. I think it's one of the most underutilized items for a mid-game focused team. Because it's so great for pushing down buildings. And some heroes really don't do anything about building up armor. Like, you look at Tree and Protector, this guy's got 3 armor. Sentry Wards versus Sentry Wards. Yeah, okay, Trixie, wait, whoa, you're down a very long way here, Trixie. And deal BKB to try and chase it, with the Centaur ulti now being used by, in fact, a newbie, because that's what Sunshine was capable of stealing. Trixie just used his full BKB to walk through the newbie lineup. He'll drop to the deck now, he'll use his own ultimate, and then, well, there is a control over on how that came out from the overgrowth of Jirax, but they just chase Trixie down. He's got no way to survive this one. He'll go down to the newbie lineup. It took some sweet time to do so, but when they get more stuns over on the Tree and Protector, pick him up, drag him back, and bring him down. 2 heroes on the sideline, and Moo finds another one. Look at the damage output into the Witch Doctor. He's got 2 armor, -7. One more attack will get the kill, and they move over towards the puck. Tornado flying up. Hal's already blinking himself in. They want to get Rax right now on the side lane, because there's no one from Finland that can defend it.
No, there's no buybacks whatsoever for Team Finland, and this is a really dominant performance from Newbie. They did look a bit worried about their Necro when they took the fight mid, and they're like, oh god, that's what this hero can do, but they reacted perfectly. They adjusted their style, They allowed How to farm a little bit more, but the BKBs, most importantly, prioritized heavily. I've got to say though, Sancheng has been stealing some amazing spells. He's stolen Reaper's Scythe a couple of times now. Stampede, like you said, it's not too difficult, but the presence of mind to think, okay, well, I'm going to steal Stampede. I don't really need any other spell right now, and perfect time to use it. Back into Roshan.
I am interested to see if, okay, well, yeah, they can do this pretty easily. It's high damage, it's a bunch of negative armor. I'm still thinking, like, these support heroes just didn't do the job right. The Tree and Protector, there was no real presence from him. His living armor didn't change the lanes, I think, the way that Finland really expected them to.
Well, there was the initial lane switch from Newbie. You were expecting the Anti-Mage bot lane with the Ogre and Rubik. Safe lane, Newbie. Yep, they're going to play safe. It's going to be standard. But they don't. They assume the Necro is going to be safe lane because they've probably seen Finland do it before.
There goes that sentry ward in mid with a gem on Banana. Way! Okay, I don't know if Puck really meant to do that as he jolted himself in, blinked away. Now Yule Scepter up on only one of the illusions, and already that mid tower. Like how goes on the attack. Nice Tornado. There's no EMP follow-up. It's just a little bit of chip damage into Jirax. While how he's got the Basher as well as the Aegis. He is very happy to take it for the team on the front lines. He'll blink back after the tower goes down. I think they're just trying to force some oldies out from Finland. Get him to be soaked up by the Animage. But now Animage isn't having a bar of it. He's back to farming. He's got himself an Abyssal Blade to finish. Actually, would you really want to go for the full Abyssal Blade at the end here? I suppose you got no other item slots unless you wanted to get into a Butterfly when the Aegis timed out.
Yeah. Looks like Mu is going for an AC. I haven't seen this build since Ferrari did it on Exort Invoker, where he had the Forge Spirits and the full minus armor build. But
just to throw the damage option out there.
Mjolnir.
Because it still works. Like you get one attack in the Desolator and you kind of already got your negative armor effect you were searching for. The rest of it just comes in from the damage. And the lightning procs aren't all the time, so you still have the Desolate coming out.
DD Rune Jirax 3 hits. Oh!
That's just beautiful.
That's just not cricket.
That's exactly cricket, man. That's Australia versus England right there, and England is the dream protector. And I'm talking about the lineup from 5 years ago, not now.
We do okay now. Well, no, it's more that Australia doesn't do okay now.
Yes.
We're still bad.
Yeah, the golden years of cricket stopped when I left Australia. All right, meanwhile, back at the ranch. Finland, defense time. It's the down tree protector. Howell just keeps going with his push. He knows he doesn't have much time left with his Aegis the Immortal, so he just jumps up and starts attacking into that range tracks, and it's gone. They're not wanting to initiate onto a guy who's got an Aegis, but Trixie has no choice. They silence him up. He's at half-life right now. They just keep attacking. Banan looking for his way up as well, but they've already almost taken this 4 racks, and Howell has lost, in fact, 0 life points after coming in. Mu will jump. Actually, they jump on Mu, but he gets the BKB off. Trixie will die so quickly. Howell got his BKB as well, so what was meant to be a double hoof stomp turns into being absolutely nothing, and Invoker, and just kill stolen by the Okamajai. The Aegis Immortal will time out now, but a 4-stomp into the Ravage. Howl split them as well with a perfect Mana Void. It's GG. Team Finland will get wiped inside their base here at the end. The Mu Invoker absolutely superb. The Tide Ravage is nice, but more importantly, Newbie, such a great lane phase.
Oh yeah.
That switch, but I can't even want to say they came here and they've come prepared to play Dota today. That was my big question when I was looking to see Newbie arrive. Are they going to play good Dota? And they did. They came with a purpose. They came in and said, all right, we know what they're going to do with their lanes. We run this one. It's a better counter lane to do up against them. And then they switched it at exactly the right time. That level 5 Tide Hunter, so they still make the most out of the Ancients. They still make the most out of having their safe flame with the Animate. So then he kicks in at the right time, even if it was delayed. And it kind of could have fallen on its ass too when you had that big fight in the middle lane. That was when Team Finland could have potentially got momentum. But in my mind, the damage was already done before that. Yeah. That was when the Orchid was practically done on Mu. The ganks were going to come from them, and there was no answer from Team Finland at that point of the game.
No, their 2 defensive supports really didn't accomplish too much. They didn't even stack the jungle for anyone. They could have possibly done that for the Centaur, allowed Trixie to get an earlier Blink Dagger, and then that fight that happened at mid lane where they actually did find some kills could have happened a little bit earlier. That could have stepped up the momentum and shifted it away from Newbie, but it just didn't happen. It didn't pan out the way that Team Finland wanted. Yeah,
we could definitely understand what they're going to try and do, but we'll have to wait and see what they're going to try and do in game number 2, as Newbie is 1 victory away, if they can get it, of course, to get themselves into the grand final of IeSF, and they'll have a lovely rest of the afternoon and come back tomorrow to play that game. But stay tuned, and we'll be back here for game number 2.